And we're live for the 8:30 live stream. Wait a few minutes and see if anyone makes it in. I know there should be some notifications sent out. I see 4 people. Oh, that's great. So I had myself in my ear from where I had YouTube open in the background. That's fun times. Now it's playing on my computer. I thought I broke this thing last week. What's going on now? All right. That should be good. Hopefully that's good. Oh, I lost somebody. we went -1 for the live stream. Hey, Select Pet. John, you're not late. Thanks for coming by. Glad to see you. Are you driving home? Don't answer that if you're driving home. If you do not answer, I'm going to assume that you're driving home. Oh, actually, you should answer that because otherwise this is going to be a bad live stream. Just be careful while you're driving home. Or are you the one that I lost? He might be the one that I lost. All right. So I'm going to start the live stream now. I don't know if there's anybody in here or not, but we're going to get started. And you can catch this part on the replay if you're not here for it. So, because I'm not going to sit here and just kind of not talk to myself. Hey, Red Laser. Nice to see you. Yeah, Tanner's in the chat. Select Pet. John is here. I was watching the amazing last week stream of Scruffy City. Well, thank you. Thank you for checking that out. That was a lot of fun. And it's going to be a lot of fun tonight, this evening, here on the live stream. I'm looking forward to this. This is the first official live stream of Scruffy City Aquatics. We do have one live stream already recorded and out there, and that is just, our little test. And I just realized that at some point my power cable apparently became unplugged. So I'll have to remember to get that in a moment. But before I do that, I'm going to get the show kicked off. And I do have a co-host joining me this week, and I'm very excited for this. When I thought about doing a live stream, I knew I didn't want to do it by myself. I didn't want to just sit and stare at the camera and, talk to just the chat, although talking to the chat is definitely going to be a big part of the live stream. It must be, right? That's the whole reason why you go live. Otherwise, you just record it and put it up there. I see Kane in the chat. Hey, Kane. And 3G is here. Everyone behave. Kane is here. Kane, I am not going to block you. Let's see. I was going to see if it allowed me. Well, yeah, all those. Oh, never mind. Hold on. I know what I'm doing. I'm learning. I'm still learning, everyone. Kane, I am going to make you a moderator. I figure if you're the president of my local aquarium club, surely you can help moderate the chat here on the live stream. And John, I'm sorry. I'm also going to give you that power. I appreciate you guys showing up, and that doesn't mean you have to stay the whole time, but thanks for coming by. Stubbs Aquatics, thanks for coming to the live stream. Stubbs was at the last one. I think Laser was as well. Red Laser, I think you made it to the last live stream. I know Kane did, and apparently John didn't, although I thought he had. So, you could have snuck by with that. All right, so my co-host is patiently waiting in the background to join us. So let's go ahead and get that taken care of and add someone else to the stream. I just want to say, I was saying it earlier and I got off on some tangent, which is going to be normal for this show. It's just who I am. I have lived with ADD all of my life, and I'm probably going to live with it the rest of my life. I like to chase squirrels. Select Pet has a hammer. All right. So yeah, the live stream was something that I wasn't sure that I would ever do, and I think it was John that first started putting that in my ear that maybe I should do it. and I've had a few others ask if I was going to do one. And then I went on Susan for SLC Aquatics live stream and just had a blast doing that. It was a lot of fun. I thought, you know what, that is something that I want to do. And while I was considering doing live streaming, I knew I didn't want to do it alone. That's what I was saying earlier. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to need a co-host. I'm going to need someone on the show with me who I can have a conversation with, and someone who I enjoy talking to, and I wouldn't mind talking with once a week at least. And so this is somebody that I usually talk with more than once a week. And I'm excited to share with you all. Let's see if I can get this banner going, because I'm learning how to do this still. Let's welcome the co-host to the show that we're currently calling Scruffy City Aquatics live stream. That may change. We'll see what happens. But welcome co-host Tanner Kesterson.
Hey everybody,
hey, Tanner.
How's it going on? Hey Mitch.
Hey man. So we kept the secret. You know, we're like the, Marvel and Star Wars. You got to hide all of your secrets, keep all that stuff hidden. You don't want everybody knowing, seeing all your cards. And we made it to the live stream without anyone figuring out that you were going to be the co-host. I told him, I said, listen, I said, when he said yes, when he took my proposal and decided that he would join me in a live stream, I said, we'll test it, see how things go. And if that's something you want to do. And he was on board immediately, which was awesome. And I told him right before we did it, I said, let's not tell people you're going to be the co-host, and we'll let that be the big announcement for the first live stream. So welcome to the live stream. Thanks for joining me and for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I really immediately said yes as soon as you asked. That sounds pretty fun to do. I like to talk. I like fish. What's better than talking about fish?
Right? I mean, we do it anyway through chat. Why not record it and throw it up for people to critique?
Yeah, now they can see all the horrible ways I keep fish and critique everything.
Yeah, we've got Chattanooga Ed in the chat. Ed, thank you for joining us. Another person who's spurred me into getting into YouTube, for FishTube, in a good way. Thank you, Ed. I really appreciate everything.
What's going on, Kane? I see you in the chat.
Kane says he's leaving. I made him a moderator. He's like, I'm out. There's a lot of JKs there, so I'm guessing that was a joke. So so you're going to see an evolution of a live stream here over the next few weeks, because although we want to get on here and talk, we're not entirely sure what the format of the show will be like. Now, I personally like a format to the show, and I brought that up to Tanner, and he was like, yeah, I think having a topic and things to talk about is a good idea. This week, the topic is Tanner. And the reason for that is I wanted to introduce us, but there's an incredible resource out there if you want to be introduced to me, Mitch, Scruffy City Aquatics. And that is, you can go to Susan for SLC Aquatics YouTube channel. And I was on a recent live stream. And if I were a great live streamer, I would have had that link and been able to put it in the chat for you. But I will add it to the description of the video. One of these days, I'll think ahead like that. Everybody's saying hi. That's cool.
Yeah, it looks like everybody's getting a little bit of rain. It is storming out my way.
Yeah, we've had a lot of rain. No storms right now. I think we might have had some the last few nights, but right now everything's looking okay.
Yeah, it's still raining pretty good. All the plants outside really enjoy it, though. Haven't had to water as much.
Gotcha. Yeah, Stubbs has got, I don't know, we talked about this previously in the unofficial live stream, but Stubbs Aquatics has some really cool ponds in the backyard. I don't know if there's actually a lake near the property or if the lake comments are pointed towards the amount of ponds that he has. Definitely some goals. I'm looking forward to catching up on some of your videos. I want to build a pond. I was telling Curtis, I was over at Curtis's house. Well, not his house, his business house. This past weekend, and was checking out the progress on the pond. And I was like, I want one of those. I've got to build a pond. So, okay. All right. I'm off on another tangent. Tanner, let's talk about you. So, first of all, oh, there we go. I knew John would have my back. There's the link. If you want, don't do it right now. Watch this live stream, but maybe bookmark that link. And you can go check out that live stream. And that was a fun time. My lighting was horrible when we got started, and Susan was like, do you have any lights that you might be able to use? And I was like, let me figure something out. And so I grabbed the light that I keep on my 10-gallon quarantine tank, which is a NICREW light, and I put it up on my couch and pointed it at me. And that was the lighting that I have. It's also the lighting that I will utilize tonight, but I do have it in a better spot. So I'm going to tell you all my secrets. I can't keep secrets like that. I don't know how I kept the secret of Tanner being the co-host. I don't know how I did it. I wanted to tell people immediately. I wanted to be like, put it in the chat, just like, hi, it's Tanner.
It felt like an unkept secret since I was on the first stream. We really didn't intend on streaming long, and we went almost an hour and a half last week, and just it was fun. I enjoyed it the first time.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a few minutes, and people started coming in, and I think we ended up with 10 people in the chat. We've got 11 right now, so we've already broken our record. Thank you everyone for joining us. But the conversation was fun, and we were messing around playing with StreamYard, and we had a good time. So Tanner, let's talk about. So we met. We met each other before in the area. I think you brought it up in the last live stream that we met at Aquarium, which is a store here in Knoxville, Tennessee. That's where we're from, or that's where I'm from. Tanner, sort of from. But we met each other at Aquarium, and then but we really got to know each other within the club that we're a part of, our local aquarium club, the East Tennessee Aquatic Association. And Tanner's been just a phenomenal member and has volunteered to help with stuff. And he doesn't even live in our city, which just amazes me, because if this club was in Nashville, I could not make the commitments that you've already made. And I know you feel bad when you can't make it, but it's completely understandable. But Tanner just really loves the hobby. And the first time that I met him at one of our meetings, he came in with like all these plants. And I'm the one that I don't know how I got this job. I have to write down everything that's been given to the club to give out. And there's all these plants. I'm like, you're going to tell me what these are. And so he's giving me their names. I was like, you're going to tell me how to spell that? It's like, I'm not even going to get close. And so we had a lot of fun with that. And we had a few conversations that day. So that's how we met. I got that out of the way for you. Tell us a little bit about your hobby. How did you get into keeping aquariums? When did you get into keeping aquariums?
Yeah, so I guess I'll just give a little synopsis on that. So growing up, my grandfather was a middle school science teacher, and he was one of the science teachers that kept all sorts of, different animals. He had snake enclosures in his classroom, and he had this 55-gallon aquarium, and I absolutely loved it. He had it to where I knew all the names of the fish. I would go, when I was real young and wasn't in school yet, I would go to school with him and sit in his classroom and just, watch the fish, play with the animals and all of that. So he I have to give credit to him for instilling the love for fish and aquariums at an early age. I was always fascinated with it. And then probably when I was around 10 to 12 years old, my parents got a tank. So then I started going to the, fish store with them, and all sorts of stuff. And I just loved it. I would read, some books about fish and stuff like that. I still have I may dig it out later in the stream, but it's like a 1970s copy of like Exotic Fish is the title of it. And it's just got all these cool, drawings of fish, like scientific drawings and all that. But sorry for getting off on a tangent. But after that, I kept my first big tank in college. That was when I could finally afford one, and I actually kept it. I lived, for those of you from Knoxville, the fort right by UT. Well, I lived in the fort, and I lived on the third or fourth floor, and I had a 55-gallon aquarium, and a 40-gallon, that moving those in was terrible. But I loved having them, and that's when I started working at one of the local stores where I originally met Mitch Aquarium, and I was still really didn't know a ton about the actual hobby itself, as far as different setups, plants, different specific fish, but it had more so the different care requirements. But when I started working there, I just went full, nose dived into the hobby and just stuck with it. And I've been keeping quite a few different tanks. I think I've got 7 in my apartment right now. But skipping around, after I graduated college, I moved to Nashville, and that's been cool. There's some great local stores here, but I finally had my own, home, and I was like, I'm putting tanks everywhere. So I've got a tank in my kitchen, the tank behind me, and then 4-5 tanks in my bedroom.
Yeah.
But the main thing specifically in the hobby for me that I got into initially was plants. I started out loving house plants. And then when I was like looking at all these beautiful like aquascape tanks, I was like, there's underwater plants. Why hadn't I thought about this? In my opinion, they're the easiest plants to keep because you don't have to water them.
That's true.
So I just got super into plants, and mainly I like to make more ecosystem style tanks, and not in the sense of a biotope type tank, but more so I like to have the balance of the natural biology, and try to do as little intervention with my tanks as possible.
Yeah, biotopes are restrictive because you have to hold a certain species and all of that. And I mean, the people who want to do that's cool. I'm sure that's fun. But for me, I'm with you. Like I have plants from all over, and they look great together. So why not put them together? I get why people do it, but sorry to interrupt you, but I did want to. We've had a few more people come in and say hi. So just real briefly, pause and say hello to Susan for SLC Aquatics. Thanks for coming by. And Pet Sotics is in here, and I believe that's Diego. And we're caught up, so you can return to your story that I interrupted you
Susan.
on.
It was great meeting you at Aquaticon. That was fun. You put JT and I on the spot with that little quick interview.
That was great, and I shared that in the club as soon as I saw it. Like I was that night, I'd completely lost my voice, so I wasn't able to talk that night. And so I was telling my family about the show, and I was like, you know what? I know there's some YouTube videos. Let me just show you. And I came across that, and I was like, oh, I'm sharing that right now. You guys did great.
Yeah, we were on the spot, and I was like, I don't know. My mind just went blank.
You were doing a good job of nodding. JT
that was a good time.
I
think at that point, we had been there all day, and it was pretty.
Yeah.
I don't know about anyone who else was in a chat at Aquaticon. I was exhausted afterwards.
Yeah.
I was driving back to Nashville, and I was like, I might need to pull over and like take a nap.
Stay somewhere. Yeah. Stop off at Clarksville.
But I guess to continue, to where my hobby has evolved to today, it's kind of, I'm really fortunate because with my work, I do deal with water quality quite a bit. So it's kind of like I get to do the fun, sciencey, type things at work. And then I like to try and apply some of those concepts to my own tanks. So I'm really trying to, at this point, I'm trying to get a clearer picture and understanding all of the interactions within, an aquarium. Because you're scaling down, such an ecosystem that's vast and massive to a glass box, and that's always been fascinating to me.
That's what I tell people when people find out that I keep an aquarium. A lot of times they have a lot of questions, and I tell them I keep a water box because that's key. Like it's fairly easy to keep fish fed, and it's fairly easy to keep plants fed and to give them light. The hard part's keeping the water right. I mean, that's what we work at, right? That's the thing that costs us the most time and calculation. Like, how much food do I give these fish so that I don't, make the water quality bad? That's where you spend more time thinking about the water than anything.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I like to think of it, all right, what are my inputs? What's going into the tank? And then, because unlike a natural, a river per se, the food can wash downstream and it's out of that area. When you add food or some, a chemical you're using for something, it's not leaving unless you do a water change. So it's kind of it's more of a balancing act, and I just really enjoy it. But I think the plants, which is my favorite part of the hobby, definitely help immensely.
Yeah.
With
Yeah,
that.
for me, plants compete with the fish often in my hobby. Um, I love, like, if I had a bare tank with just fish, I wouldn't be excited about that. I know there's
Mhm.
people that like that, and there's certain fish that thrive in that environment. But I like having the lush green tank. And honestly, the 75-gallon, if I didn't keep a nice looking tank in the living room, my wife wouldn't have a tank in the living room. So the plants are the appeal there for her as well.
Mhm.
And but they compete. And really, it wasn't until our club that I got excited about fish and snails. Again, I was really focused on plants going into the club. Chattanooga Ed says he was super tired and wasn't doing anything, and that's not true. Ed, I saw you carrying stuff from your truck in the middle of the show. I know you were doing stuff. You were selling Tennessee Fish Mafia shirts, which we need. Next time I see you, I need to get one of those. Um, but yeah, you guys were busy over in the YouTube area too. I tell you, I spoke with so many people that day. My voice was gone. Um, yeah, just trying to keep up with the chat as we go.
Yeah.
Select Pet, which is our friend John, says we need more Aquaticon style events locally more often. It was awesome. It was awesome. I did a video on Aquaticon for my channel. It was one of the harder videos for me to make because I just kept talking and talking and talking and talking about Aquaticon because I was excited about the event and I had to edit it down. I was like, I can't put this 40-minute thing out there. Nobody will watch that. So my if you saw that, I let my dog have the door open today while I was working because I let my dog have the door open. That's the strangest thing I've ever said. Anyway, I left the door open for my dog today, and some flies got in here, and one just like buzzed the camera. And anyway, yeah, I will stop in the middle of a conversation and point stuff like that out, I'm sure. But yeah, Aquaticon was amazing. I had such a good time, and I enjoyed. Tanner and I actually we got to know each other pretty well there at Aquaticon.
Yeah, that was one of the first days that we spent, a good chunk of time because we were there all day. That
Yeah.
I had a blast. It was awesome meeting so many people and just talking aquariums. I did I think it was the 11-gallon, the aquascaping competition they had, and
Yeah.
that was a lot of fun too. Still haven't set that tank up, but I've got plenty of pictures from the contest, and I'm going to try and recreate something similar.
Yeah, that was a really cool tank. That was a cool competition. I didn't get over there nearly as much as I wanted to, and I did get footage of it, and somehow it didn't make it into my video, and I don't know why. But that was a fun time. I was over there rooting for you. It was funny because they asked YouTubers um, to do the judging, and at one point they asked me if I would consider doing the judging because I'd started a YouTube channel. And I was like, that could be fun. And I was like, wait a minute, I got 3 people over there with t-shirts that match mine. I probably ought not. I don't know that I could appear impartial. So as soon as I brought up as soon as I brought up that, because we were there with our club, we had a booth that was donated to us from Kenny, who was the main sponsor. Aquatic Marine was the main sponsor of Aquaticon. And I was like, yeah, I probably shouldn't. And they were like, oh yeah, you absolutely shouldn't. Sorry. But everybody, we would have had 1, 2, and 3 probably if I, that's not true. That's not true. I got more integrity than that. Oh,
Just
I just
speaking
hit
on, they
everything.
didn't give y'all enough time to judge. That I was getting a little bit stressed. I'd never put a tank together that quick. I didn't anticipate the stress or, of sitting there. I didn't have time to look at everything. I was just like, all right, this goes here. Looks good. Let's put something there. So that was definitely the fastest I put together a tank. Normally I do it over probably the span of a weekend to where I can do, the hardscape and everything. And then the next morning look at it and think, okay, that looks good.
Yeah, I heard someone suggest that the competition maybe should have started earlier so that they could sit out for a while and people be able to enjoy them a little bit longer, and then also would have given the judges more time. But as a first year show, they were figuring things out. As far as the competition went, it was kind of cool seeing it happen and then the judging taking place pretty soon. But I can see why giving it some time would be good. And then I saw, I believe it was John. No, it was Ed. Ed said next year we're going to have to make sure we go to that one in Kentucky, the Mammoth Cave Fish Show. I saw John's Select Pets did a video on, I believe it was Mammoth Cave Fish Show, and that was a cool location.
Yeah, I'll have to check that video out. But I wanted Mammoth Caves is a cool area too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
Ed didn't know my tank was the middle. No, the furthest left of the 11 gallons. Yeah. I sort of had the main piece was a piece of spider wood that kind of curved down. I don't have any pictures of it on the laptop, but if you do some digging, I think I posted it in the club page.
Yeah, you did.
But my plan for that one is it looks like a good desktop tank, and I'm moving offices this next Friday to where the whole office is moving to a new building, and it's going to be my desk tank. I've been holding off because I didn't want to have to set it up and then break it down, but I'm pretty excited for that.
So you're allowed to keep a tank at work?
Yes, actually, I'm very stoked on this, and I will definitely post some progress. My boss asked me, he said, we work with water and water quality. Why don't we have a tank? Yeah. I was like, he was like, would it be too much to ask you to set one up and take care of it? I was like, no, I will.
Give me the credit card.
If I can have a tank in the office, no work.
Yeah.
I'll go, hey, there's some algae on this glass. We got to have it looking good.
Yeah. So the origins of my YouTube channel go back to a video journal that I used to keep of my 75 gallon. And the reason why that exists to begin with was partially because of the aquarium co-op forums, but also because I was doing videos and putting them up on my monitor so that I was watching my aquarium while I was at work. But we can't have an aquarium at work. They don't appreciate the heater. So I don't know. Maybe I can get away with a shrimp tank. I should ask and see if I could do that. It stays warm enough in there for a shrimp tank.
Yeah, if they keep it at 72 to 73, that'd be more than fine. Yeah. I mean, I've kept shrimp at 60, 68, but yeah, they've been fine. Especially if it's, just Neocaridina, they're super, super hardy. I'm looking over and reading the chat as well.
Yeah, it's going to take a little get used to. I'm trying to throw it up there so I don't forget to go back to it. And then I'm trying to pull up the ones that you mentioned too, so that they're on the screen. So thank you everyone for chatting with us. I have some red cherry shrimp out in my patio pond. And, it's gotten up there toward 90 a couple of times. I've been working to keep that from happening since. And then I don't plan on taking them out in the winter. I've been told they'll winter in our area in the tub. So I'm going to try it and we'll see. Hopefully,
that'll be cool.
I didn't put a whole lot out there, just a few. But there were a few females that were already buried that went out there. So hopefully I've got a pretty good colony going on.
That'd be really cool. Pull out a couple hundred into summer or something. But I think they will overwinter. Depending on the size of the pond.
Yep, I know others who have kept ponds of similar sizes. So my micro's a 20 gallon. Susan says Kenny would be touched that we are still talking about Aquaticon. Kenny is very touched with the response that he's had with the online community for Aquaticon. I haven't heard one way or another about whether it will become if there will be an event next year. I don't know. I hope there will be. I know he was very thankful for all of the recognition that the show had online, and for the everyone who said great things about it. It was a fun time, and he has every right to be proud. I believe. I think it was a great show, and I can't wait to see what happens next. And I hope the ETAA. Not only do I hope we have a booth at the next one, but I hope we have more volunteers too. I would love to be able to say that the ETAA supported Aquaticon with a bunch of volunteers. We had volunteers at the first one, not just at our table, but we had people who volunteered to help. Who are associated with the club. So that's very cool. But I would really like to be able to, because that's kind of what a club's for, right? I mean, one of our, I think Kane's in here. One of he worked on this. One of our, I forget what they're called. Not rules. Not it's just the things that we're trying to do with our club. There's a term for it that's escaping
Tenants?
me. Tenants, yeah, we can call it tenants. That's not what we put in the bylaws, but
code.
One of the our code of ethics,
code of conduct.
Code of conduct. One of the things that, as a club, one of our goals in our area is to support the hobby and to encourage the hobby in the area. And Aquaticon is a great opportunity to do that. So I look forward to being involved. I hope the show happens next year, and I hope we're more involved. Ed says he'll have a table next year. Ed, you were moving shirts and hats, so I hope you do, and some stickers too. I'll tell you one thing. This is a funny story. So at our club, we are a open membership club, so it doesn't cost anything to be a member. One of the ways that we have a few ways that we support the club financially, and one of those is merchandise, and another is donations. And we've been very blessed with the amount of donations that we've had since the beginning of the year. And then also with the merchandising that we've done some t-shirts and some stickers. So our stickers, we had stickers for $2, which is a pretty good price on a good size vinyl sticker. My camera's over here. And there we go. Yeah, I was supposed to have mine. I just realized a few minutes ago that I brought
that and the boost plant on this bottle.
There we go.
But yeah, these stickers, wrong way. But yeah, these stickers are awesome. They're pretty durable too. I'm surprised because this water bottle gets thrown around in my truck and it has not scratched up. So
yeah, I've got a couple. I've got one on my cooler that I take with me just in case I end up with some plants or inhabitants to bring home or to transport for somebody. And then I have a couple on cups. So I love them. But anyway, they were $2. Everyone else at Aquaticon was giving stickers away. And so we constantly had people coming up and like, yeah, can I take one? And I'll be like, yeah, they're $2. And I get a funny look, and then, okay. And most of the time they give me $2 and I give them a sticker. And it was late in the day. Somebody said, everybody else is giving them away. I was like, oh, well, that would make sense. Everybody else has been giving them away. And I've been the one guy been like, no, you gotta give me $2 for this sticker. Let's catch up with the chat. Select pet. Here we go. I know a guy that overwintered Neo shrimp outside up here on his deck in a tub. Yeah. Is that you? Did you do it? I know a number of people in our area have done it. Yeah, here's Ed. Sean's one of the people, Sean Peck with Peck Tech's, one of the people that I spoke with about it. He keeps shrimp over the year, and he says it's about 20 gallon. Yeah, I told Sean, I think you were there, Ed, when Sean first told me about it. And I was like, are you kidding? I can keep shrimp outside. And he's like, I've done it for years. I was like, I mean, don't be kidding with me, because I'm going to do it and I'm going to kill all the shrimp if you're messing with me. I was like, they're going out immediately. And he's like, no, you can do it. So I think that's the first place. I did ask a couple of people, hey, do you do this?
I might have to try that out then. This is really making me want to do a little patio pond.
Oh, it's so much fun. I enjoy it. Although mine's gotten too much sun the last few days and all the top plants are yellowing, which I'm guessing it's the sun. Maybe it's nutrients. Maybe I need to test the water. I throw a lot of food in there. throw a lot of food in there, so I'd be surprised. John says, I think the ETAA could pull together a big convention like that in a couple of years. Knoxville can handle multiple conventions. Yeah, I mean, we're going to have events. We already have, our first year we did a couple. Well, we did one. We have another one scheduled of our swaps, which I think we're going to rename. We might talk about that later. I'm not going to throw that out here on this stream, but it's been a conversation that we've had about giving it a name. So it'll become more of an event, and it will be it'll still be a small event, I would imagine. Although our first one really impressed me. I'd never been to a fish swap. I'd never been to something like that. I'd seen a few videos online, and really watching online, it's kind of hard to get a scope for how big something is, or how many people are there. And so I wasn't sure what we were going to do or how it was going to be. But, that's the great thing about having a board and there being, 5 members who are kind of planning things and working together. And we started our first committee this past month. So we've got more people getting involved. And so just with that, I had no idea what to expect. And I think we had 11 tables total, and 90 people come through in our very first event. So I would imagine our next event will be larger, and if it doubles in size, I'll be thrilled. I mean, I can't imagine having 20 something tables. We may have to look at another location if we get above 20, but it was a lot of fun. We'll do something. We'll have some stuff, and I would really like to be able to partner with Aquaticon though. And that's just me personally. The ETAA, they may decide, there may be something in a few weeks where they decide that we're going to do the ETAA convention. I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. We've got a lot on our plate already with some stuff we're trying to do this summer. Select Pet says missions. Kane says he is still here. I'm lurking while I care for all the fish and reptiles. He's got lots of fish and reptiles. We may have to have him on sometime to talk about some reptiles and maybe show us around some of his tanks.
Yeah, Kane, I saw you just got a new snake recently, didn't you?
Yeah, he's planning on doing some snake breeding, I guess.
That was pretty cool. The only reptile I've ever kept was a bearded dragon, and he was a lot of fun. And then I had a 36 bow front tank. I thought about making into like a terrarium style, like a vivarium, I think is what they're called, but keeping dart frogs in it. But I haven't bridged that gap just yet.
Yeah. So as a kid, I had a false chameleon as a kid. And then I also had a snapping turtle for a while, a few years actually. And we ended up moving to a property that had a pond. And so we released him in the pond. But I had him. His name was Donnie because I was a Ninja Turtles fan, and Donatello is the coolest Ninja Turtle. I don't care what you say. And
kind of like Raphael.
Oh, you would? Yeah. No, I can see it. Your Ninja Turtle of choice says a lot about your personality, I believe, for most people.
I was a Raphael and a Michelangelo.
Oh yeah, everybody loved Mikey.
Mikey.
Yeah, I definitely was more of a Donatello, Leonardo type. But Mikey was, I would always not choose Michelangelo because everybody else did. And that was my reason. I'm too prideful. It's horrible. I deal with it on a daily basis. I am. I was like, he's my favorite, but I'm not going to tell you that because everybody else said that. Chattanooga Ed says, I cannot wait to go to the next swap. I was bummed out I couldn't go to the first one. We were too. But you will make it to the next one. It's October the 8th, I believe. I don't have it in front of me, but it's the first weekend in October. We have booked the location. I believe we put the event online. I think you can find it on Facebook and go ahead and mark. Yeah, you can go ahead and mark that.
But yeah, that was that first swap was a lot of fun. My first fish swap, but I also had a table there, so that was a fun experience, and also learned a lot. I had a lot of fun people that I did not know there were that many people that would show up.
I know. It was great. Yeah. Yeah. So Ed says he will be at the meeting this Saturday. We do have a meeting this Saturday. We're looking forward to that. It's going to be on ponds, actually. So outdoor ponds, Jason's going to be giving a presentation on outdoor ponds. And I believe Curtis has taken on the challenge of talking about rainwater and breeding barbs in a 5-gallon bucket. So he says he can do that in under 15 minutes. We'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to that. Let's see here. Yes, John, thank you. I appreciate you always promoting and boosting. You are amazing in the hobby. I tell you, you get me excited about the hobby a lot. And it's really, really hard to stick to the 1 to 4 tanks that I have. Kane says that he is feeding the snake while listening to us. He said y'all, because we say y'all in this area. Chattanooga Ed says, I'm a Leonardo man. All right. Fellow leader there. Let's see. Yeah,
John
we should do a tour.
John likes Donatello. Okay.
Yeah. I liked all the turtles. I mean, there was phases where
it was
awesome.
All of them.
And depends on which version. Like, so you probably weren't 80s, 90s turtles. Which turtles was your turtles?
Let's see. I guess 2000s.
Yeah, that's a good show.
I was born in 98, so
yeah,
2000s. I actually went. There's a place in Nashville near me that has all the old like big arcade games, and they had some of the Ninja Turtle ones. And me and my friends just played that for we were there for 4 hours.
Okay, here's a scoop for you if you don't already know this, and everyone in the chat. There is a release of all of the Ninja Turtle video games on the classic systems coming out soon. It'll be available on PS5, PS4, Xbox One, whatever, X1, whatever. I don't know Xbox. I'm not a Microsoft guy. Obviously, I'm a Sony guy. And but it's going to be available on a lot of formats. I think even the Nintendo Switch. But it has those classic NES games. It has the Sega Genesis games, the Super Nintendo games. Hyperstone Heist is in there. I don't know if you guys are gamers, but man, I love those games. And I have looked for, like, I'm always checking the eShops to see if they're available. And I've got a buddy who actually does a Ninja Turtle podcast from Atlanta, and he's been messaging me about it, and I'm really excited about that. I can't wait to play those games. And if you're on Sony and want to play it, because it is multiplayer online, let me know in the comments. Let me know. We'll hook up and play some when it comes out.
I might have to take you up on that. I've got a PS4,
that'd be fun.
So
there we go. We've got.
I guess this is now a gaming stream.
It is a gaming Ninja Turtle stream. Yeah. Chattanooga says if it's on the 8th, I won't be there. Oh no. So that's Aquashella in Chicago. Okay. That's disappointing. I think it is the 8th. I'm going to look now because I've said it. I've put it out there to all 8 of you. Thank you for being here. It is the 8th of October is our swap. So maybe the next one. We'll have another one in April probably. Let's see here. S is saying hi to everybody. And John says, the challenge is to keep Curtis talking longer than 15 minutes. No, because we want Jason to get to ponds. No, I'm kidding. We do. We want to fit it all in. So instead of we've been doing spotlights, like a 5 to 10 minute spotlight. And Curtis said that he thinks, because he was supposed to do barbs in a bucket at the last meeting, and we felt like we really needed more time for the live foods. Cassandra had a great presentation. And so we also needed to announce our BAP program, which has just started up. And so, we had to take time. We had to take time to do that. And Curtis was gracious enough to give up his time. And then he said, I'm just going to stack them together and cover it all in 15 minutes. I'm like, okay, we'll see it. Let's see. John says you're making him feel old. Sorry, John. Yeah, the original turtles were my turtles. I grew up with those guys. I remember my first Ninja Turtle action figure. I I don't remember. I think it was a Raphael. I do. I believe it was.
The man.
It was a long time before I got a Leonardo. I did have a Donatello. Anyway, Kane says 98. Sweet. I'm not the youngest anymore. And Susan's got to leave. Thank you, Susan, for coming by. If you're still here, thank you. I appreciate
Susan.
all of your support and your help. And thank you for stopping by. Let's see. Ed says, am I an official member of the club, or is there something I need to do? You are a member. If you're a member on the Facebook group, we consider you a member of the club. You know, the more you participate, the more we get to know you. What's fun is over the last, so in the beginning, I missed the first few meetings due to illnesses and stuff. But the first few meetings, we had a lot of new people, obviously, because it's the first few meetings. And then by the April meeting, I believe it was, no, it wasn't April, March. By the March meeting, we're like, oh, there's some people we recognize. And then people started to know each other's names. And then we had the fish swap. And then in May, it was really cool getting to catch up with people. And, you know, people come up and go, hey, you know, last time you brought these plants and there was a molly in there. And so now I have mollies in my tank. And I'm like, well, you're welcome. And they were really excited to have the mollies. But, you know, it's real fun to get to know people and to learn, you know, all the people in the area. And I will always say this, it changes the hobby to have a local club. So find your local club. All right, Tanner wants to know what's going on with the tank behind you, because we interrupted you talking about your history.
I can move out of the way. You'll probably rather look at that than me. Let's see if I can get a little. So I've got some cardboard up on the top because the light will just. Actually, I'll move it back here. That's not going to look good. Got some cardboard right there to cover the light.
Oh, here, I can help you out a little bit. Hold on. Oh, that's me. I didn't want me. Hold on. Oh, let's see if I can figure this out. I know I've done it. All right, solo. Well, if I click that, it removes you. So that's not it. Aha. I did figure it out. Awesome. I'm not that old.
So this tank here, if you're in the Facebook group, you probably haven't seen pictures of this new scape. I posted a picture of the old version, but this is a 40-gallon breeder. I've got an assortment of some tetras, some harlequin rasboras, a couple crebensis, a peacock gudgeon, and then my Corys. They're all hiding, of course, but I've got 5 of the black Venezuelan Corys, and then a small school of 4 bronze Corys.
Those black Corys are gorgeous. Did you get those from the same place Curtis got his?
Yes, I actually got
Bruce?
them at the swamp.
Okay.
So I got them from Curtis, but came from Bruce.
Yeah, from Gorgeous Guppies.
Yes.
GorgeousGuppies.com. He has some on there, and they are gorgeous. I've seen Curtis's a few times, and I think he actually just had some fry.
Yeah, he's got some fry right now. Mine are about 3 months younger than his. So
okay.
In about 2 to 3 months, I'm hoping that they'll be about the size of where they're mature enough. But so that's the fish I've got going on in my tank. My couch is up against the back of the tank, so I had a space to put the computer. But below the tank, I've got a 30-gallon sump that's got it's basically just full of plants and some filter media. But
it's like
it's just
40% water volume is your filtration.
Yes, I did that. Well, basically because I found the sump on Facebook Marketplace for like $100, and I couldn't pass it up. So this is probably one of my favorite tanks that I have, just because it's super easy to maintain because the filtration is so big.
Mhm.
I mean, I had, I do sort of a more lean fertilization, but still my nitrates never get above 10. And that's with, I could probably go a couple months or longer without doing a water change. But love this tank. It sits right behind my couch so I can just sit and watch it constantly.
Cool. It's a good looking tank.
I appreciate that. It's one of the tanks. I actually change the scape up probably about once every 3 to 4 months. I let it grow out until I feel that it's gotten, you know, reached peak maturity for
Yeah.
what I can get, and then rescape it because I just love setting up tanks.
Yeah.
I've reached the point where I can't set up any more tanks.
Right. Yeah, I've been looking lately. Everybody's on me about you've got room. I don't have room for any more tanks. I wish I did. I would have some more. And you know what? The fish shed may one day be a project that we do and is on
That
the
needs to
YouTube.
happen.
It would be fun. That in the pond, that would be my
Yeah,
dream. Would be to have a fish shed up there with a nice, large door that I could open up and it'd be open to the backyard and the pond. That would be amazing, but there's a lot of work. So
yeah.
John says patience while Mitch presses buttons. Yes. I actually removed Tanner at one point while I was doing that, and I was able to bring him back on without anybody noticing until I told you about it, because that's how I roll. Uh, so let's
You should
see
see him
here.
before the stream trying to figure out everything.
Yeah, just messing around with stuff like, oh, nope, better not do that. I was really disappointed because I wanted to put a background up at the beginning with the logo for Scruffy City Aquatics, and it told me I needed a premium package to do that. So, have to look into that one of these days. That's okay. We don't need that for a live stream. It's scrolling here on the bottom. Welcome to Scruffy City Aquatics, first official live stream. Can't call it our first live stream because we've already done that. Kane says he'll help work on the shed. I could use it because I'll have to insulate underneath. I don't know if you heard this before, but I helped a friend of mine build it. This is the house I didn't grow up in it. My parents lived here right before I graduated. We moved here. And so I lived here for a couple of years. And I helped build the shed. It has no insulation whatsoever. I'll have to insulate the bottom for sure. And it probably needs a new floor. It looks like it's had some leaks. So yeah, I'll have to jack it up and put a floor underneath it. I'm not looking forward to that. Or not a floor. I have to put insulation underneath it, and then I'll put a floor on top, obviously. But yeah, it's a project that, hopefully I get to do someday. And I look forward to it because I'd like for it to be a gaming, podcasting, live streaming fish tank room. I mean, that's the dream. I got to run power, got to get water to it. Actually, I don't have to get water to it, but probably
Water
ought to.
changes would be easy. Just put a utility sink in there.
Yeah.
That'd be perfect.
Yep. So yeah, a lot of work. So, it might be something on the channel. Who knows? John was the first one to bring that up one time. If I can fit 40 tanks in a 600 square foot house, you can find room for one more tank. Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I've thought about putting a 5-gallon in a couple of places. I could probably swing that pretty easy, but I mean, that's just going to be a shrimp tank.
Then, John, speaking of this tank, those crebensis I got from you at the fish swap, I let them grow out in a 10-gallon and then moved them into here, and they are doing fantastic. So
That's
really
awesome.
appreciate that. There's really healthy fish.
Slab the floor if it needs a new one. Yeah, that might be easier. I don't know how hard it would be. I've actually got a bad spot in my fence. This is off of the rails here. I've actually got a bad spot in my fence where I need to replace the post. So it'd be real easy for me to take the fence down in the back of the property and get a truck and a trailer back there. And I thought about moving it and putting a slab underneath it and then bringing it back in. That is something that I've considered. But who knows? It's not in the budget right now for sure. Tanner and I were talking about our setup here. I'm gonna tell you, I can't show you the behind the scenes because my camera is part of it. But I've got my laptop sitting on my cooler on a table in front of me, in front of my fish tank, with my light sitting on a table that's on top of an ironing board. Yeah, that's how we're rolling. This is the evolution of live streaming.
The first stream we did, I had taken a bunch of books to stack mine on because I couldn't get the height right, and then I found a little stand. So
Yeah.
I've got a coffee table with a stand on that, and the laptop's on that. So
Yeah,
we're
high
working
tech.
with it.
Hey,
A
that just shows their
greenhouse would be
dedication.
fantastic. I built one with my parents before I moved here, and I was very sad to leave it because the thought of just having it full of tubs, small ponds would be incredible.
Yeah, there's the property next to me. I've looked at a spot there and thought, you know what, that'd be a good place for someone to have a greenhouse. So, who knows? Maybe I can rent the property from them. Says, rock what you got till you got better. Yeah, that's true. That's part of the fun of this is the problem solving of how are you going to do things. Like that first live stream, I've recorded videos using this earpiece, my headphones, and Tanner used some Apple Pods, AirPods, Apple Pods. Yeah, whatever they are. AirPods. Yeah. Didn't they call them Apple Pods when they were wired? Anyway. But anyway, my sound was horrible. When I listened to that video, I was like, nobody's going to listen to this. And quite a few people did. So I was impressed with that. Hopefully it sounds better on my end tonight because I pulled out the old microphone that I do have and and got it set up here somehow. Duct tape and zip ties. No, I'm just kidding. There are no duct tapes and zip ties here. Although I'm not above it. I definitely could do it. Need be.
I've got quite a few zip ties. Zip ties keep my tanks running.
Yeah, they're handy.
Let's leave it at that.
Yeah, they're handy. I think this has happened before. I think
your
my lights are going down. Yeah, no, they're on a timer. So
yeah,
it's getting about that time. They just start dimming. So they're still on, but they don't look on right now.
I had some of the wired ones, John.
Too young to remember.
I know I'm young, but I'm not that young.
So it's out of frame. You can't see it. And I'm not really going to be able to show it with the lights where they are. But I have more Cory eggs. And, I'm going to have a video that I'm still working on where I document the chronicles of me trying to hatch Cory fry for the first time. And it didn't go very well. I was pretty frustrated at times, and I was up all hours of the night talking with people about how to fix what I had going on. But when I found these, I was like, you know what? I'm not going through that again. So I have a deli container with a piece of insulation, foam insulation around it, and it's floating in the tank. And so that's set up right over here. And I got a piece of Java Fern. I don't know why Curtis keeps giving me Java Fern. I got a piece of Java Fern from Curtis, and it had some Panda Cory eggs on it. And so they're in there too. Yes, we love us some Cory eggs.
I need to, Mitch, send you pictures of my fry that I've got. They're starting to get some size to them, and they look, they just look like little Corys. They're awesome.
Yep.
I've really enjoyed it was a lot of trial and error, but with the ones that I got to raise up has been really fun.
Yeah. So I do still have the 4 that I had last week. I guess at this point they're 3 weeks old. 2 weeks old. I don't know. 2 weeks. Yeah, they're 2 weeks old. And they're like little Corys, and they're more active. When I had them before, I was trying to figure out how to keep them in some kind of container, and I just could not keep it warm enough. I'd really hoped that I could put it underneath the cabinet in my aquarium, and that would help keep it warm enough, and it didn't. So I ended up getting everything out of my quarantine tank, which wasn't there because of any, nothing was sick. It just was still there. I didn't want to put the mollies back in the 75 gallon. I've been trying to save them, keep them out of the 75, but keep them for the meetings. But anyway, so they're in there now, and they're staying about 80 degrees, and they are all over the place. I was watching them swim around today looking for food, and that was really exciting. All right. Well, it's 9:30, and that is, we said we'd go about an hour. So we are at that hour mark. Thank you to everyone who showed up. We appreciate you coming by and supporting the live stream, being here. Means a lot to us. And thank you for the conversation. We do plan on doing this weekly. Did I ask you if we were doing this weekly?
You did. I assumed we were.
I think I said that, right?
I think so. I'm good with weekly.
Okay, so we'll be back next week on Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, and we'll have another conversation. Now, this one, we are going to have a topic for you, but one thing we wanted to, for the next one, but one thing we wanted to ask is, what would those of you who are watching this live stream right now, or those of you who are watching on the replay, like to see from the live streams? Like topics, what things would you like for us to discuss? And that'll help us get started with live streaming as we kind of find our voice and find our footing. And there's that fly again. I'm gonna have to get rid of that guy. He about went in my mouth. Protein. So did I hear a second tank running? John, come on. You know I have a quarantine tank. Ed says, great job. Thank you, Ed. And Red Laser says, thanks, guys. Thank you, Red Laser. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. And yeah, so until next time, stay scruffy.